Hello there guys, it's Count here, back in another video, and today I'm going to do it if deku was adopted by Mirko, part 7, hope you enjoy it. So before we start the video, I have to apologize for not uploading for like 5 days. I was sick for the past 3 days and I'm still recovering, so if my voice sounds a bit weird, that's why. So hope you guys can understand, and let's begin. So like always, a small recap is needed, but if you somehow missed last part, click an I button right here. So last part we cover what happened a few months before the entrance exam, and how Deku's popularity skyrocketed after he showed off his power, and how a lot of students, specifically girls, went to get close to him, but Deku quickly shut them down. If they want to become friends, good, let's go. But nothing more, nothing less. He doesn't talk about his personal life with them, except Jiro. For some reason, he have a weird friendship with her. Everyone can see that he's way too relaxed with her. So one day Jiro invited him to have dinner because his mom will be working. So he met up with Jiro's parents, they talk for a bit, Deku revealed his past to them, and how he's the son or adopted by Mirko. Then after a while, Mirko wants to meet Jiro, so Deku invite her over. He revealed that he can cook because his mom can't, and Mirko have a talk with Jiro. And after Mirko asked her if she's like Deku, she was going to answer, but Deku interrupted them. So they have the dinner and Deku took Jiro home. So the few months that lead to the entrance exam, Deku kept training Jiro, and on occasion, they train with Mirko. Well, it's more like torture than training, but you know what I mean. So it's the day of entrance exam, and because Deku is quite smart, he aced the theory exam. And for the practical, it was child's play, comparing training with Mirko. That was until the 0 Point robot show up. At first Deku decided to stay away from it, but after he saw Araka calling for help, he tried to kick it. He dented a bit but nothing more. So he decided to take Araka away from it first, and after that he fly as high as he can. Then he fly at 0 Point robot at top speed, channeling all his power into his kick. And right in front of it, he throws a kick, similar to Mirko's Luna Fall, but he called it Luna Impact. So after that we wait a week, and Deku got his letter. He called Jiro. Both of them are in class 1A, so I think that's it for the summary. So like last part, let's put a like goal, 500 likes, and I'll make part 8. And with that out of the way, let's begin. So we start with Deku going to UA. He's stopping at the gate and he starts thinking. It's not the first time that he's been here, but this time it feels different. Alright Izuku, that's enough, he thought to himself. Don't get lost in your thoughts again. You don't want to be late. Aizawa is quite strict. So he started moving and he easily found the class. So when he entered, he saw Ida yelling at Bakugo to put his feet down. And the first thing that comes to Deku's mind, damn it, this guy is here. He will be a pain. But in the other end of the class, Bakugo was yelling at Ida like always. But when he saw Deku, he froze. It's like he's seeing a ghost, but the ghost is much buffer and slightly taller. So let's go back to Deku. Before he enters, someone tapped him in the shoulder and it's Uraraka. She thanks him once again for saving her. Don't mention it, Deku reply. Then when Ida saw Baku frozen, he looked at Deku, then he started walking toward him. Deku sighed. Then Ida asked him about the hero points. How did he know about them? I didn't, Deku reply. We are trying to be heroes here, right? Meaning whenever we see someone in danger, we save them, exam or not. Ida's eyes widen. I see, you're right. Then another person come close to Deku and it's Jiro. Good morning, Greenie. Hi there, Wildcat. I guess I am the one who's late, huh? Jiro started thinking what he mean. Then she remembered the day of the school when she come late. She giggled and tell him, you're right. So will you just keep lying there, or should we start the class, Mr. Aizawa? And Deku looked at the ground. Everyone did, and they saw Aizawa in his larval state. Aizawa smirked and tell him, so you did notice me, huh? Yep, Deku replied. Alright, then Aizawa get up. He told everybody to sit down. And when he did that, Bakugo finally snapped out of his shock and yelled, Deku! Everyone is thinking, Deku? What? Then Aizawa shot him a dead glare and tell him to shut it. He did. So he introduced himself and told everyone to go to the outdoor field. We are going to do a physical test right now. Alright, then Deku get up, and when Jiro saw that, she followed him. Then I think Mina interject and tell him it's not fair. Really, Aizawa reply. Alright then. The last place will be expelled immediately. Do you think this is fair or should I do more? Everyone is scared, well except for Deku, so they just shut up. And in the way Jiro asked Deku, is he serious? 100% serious, Deku replied. Jiro was having a small hope that he was just lying. But now, that hope is gone. But she asked him how does he know? Because last year he expelled the whole class. Deku replied. Jiro gulped and her eyes widened. A whole class? Yep, Deku replied. You know how I was ahead of a class last year? She nods. So at first, my mom thought that I should go to UA because I can skip a year. But because there is no 1A that year, so last year, plus I never been to school or at least I don't remember, they decided to put me in your class. I see, she replied. Then she's looking a bit down. Deku saw that. He put his hand on her head and tell her, hey, why the long face? I know that you're strong enough to be at least in the top 10. Jiro smiled a bit, blush, and thanks him. I did nothing, Deku replied. I just mentioned the obvious. And he smiled, and that made Jiro blush a bit more. And the girls saw that, specifically Mina. She will talk about it later with her after she passed this test. Then suddenly they heard another Deku. Everyone is looking at him like, what's wrong with you? He rushed at Deku, and when he's close to him he yelled once again. Deku decided to ignore him because it's too early. And that pissed Bakugo off. So he grabbed him by his shoulder and tell him, look at me, I'm talking to you, Deku. Deku immediately grabbed his hand and started crushing it. Listen here, buddy. I think that you are having the wrong person. I am not that Deku guy. So keep your voice at bare minimum. It's too early. Bakugo was shocked about Deku's demeanor, and he was shocked that Deku is actually crushing his hand. Like, what's going on? Since when he become this strong? And when Jiro saw Deku's reaction, she put her hand on his shoulder and tell him to calm down. Deku looked at her, she looked at him and she nods. He closed his eyes, sighed and let go of Bakugo. And they start heading to the field. And by the way, Aizawa is behind the corner watching their interaction. So everyone changed their PE uniform, and when they're heading out, Bakugo stopped Deku once again. By the way, they are alone. The others are still changing. Wait, Bakugo shout. Deku sighed and tell him, what do you want? I told you before, I'm not a Deku. I never heard that name in my life. Heck, I never met you before. And the last one actually shocked Bakugo. Wait, you don't remember me? You're Izuku, right? Izuku Midoriya. And when Deku heard that, he gets serious and tell him, how do you know that? Do we met before or something? Were we friends? But I doubt it. I have this weird vibe from you that we will not get along. So answer me. Bakugo is still shocked and tell him, you honestly don't remember. What happened to you? We were classmates 5 years ago. Where have you been? I know what happened to Auntie and your dad. Auntie? Dad? So you think we were close, huh? Well, I will tell you bluntly what happened. I lost my memories. I don't remember anything from 10 years to under. But I wish I can. Then Deku looked at Bakugo. Like I told you, I have this vibe that we did not get along. So let's make a deal and stay away from each other's way, alright? Then Deku turned around and started walking away. Bakugo was shocked. Sure, Deku did change a lot physically, and also a bit mentally, but not that much. Remember what I said in part 1, Deku always fight back when he was getting bullied. But still, he doesn't remember anything, just what happened that night. And before you ask, Bakugo is feeling a bit guilty, because remember, they were friends before he was deemed quirkless, but then he changed and started fighting him, and after 5 years he suddenly vanished or seems to be dead, and then another 5 years and he's alive with a new name, a quirk, and without memories. So you start thinking maybe if he wasn't, well, I told Deku to him, maybe things could have turned out better, because I assumed that Deku's mom and Bakugo's mom were close friends, so he did see how much she was hurting when she passed away. So honestly, he doesn't know what to do, but for now he decided to focus on this test. So everyone made their way to the outdoor field, then Aizawa gave Deku a ball and tell him, since you are first place in the entrance exam, throw this. How far were you able to throw it without a quirk? Deku started thinking and tell him 90 meters, I believe. Aizawa was a bit surprised. I see. Damn, what type of training did Mirko put you through? Aizawa said that loud enough to Deku to hear, but not the rest. Well, except for Jiro. Deku replied, well, the kind that you don't want to talk about it. Aizawa slightly chuckled and tell him, I see. And that made Jiro also giggle. They asked her what's wrong, she told them, nothing. Then Aizawa told Deku to throw it as high as he can with his quirk. Alright, Deku replied. So he pulled his arm back, then it started glowing with the green aura. Then he threw the ball with the ki blast at the same time. So the ball started getting higher and higher, then it stopped at 1.1 kilometers. Or 1100 meters. Everyone is surprised. Aizawa replied, huh, nice, it's better than last time. Well, I'm not slacking, Deku reply. I know, Aizawa tell him. Then everyone start doing their turn. And by the way, before you ask, why Bakugo is not attacking Deku? Well, like I said in part 1, Deku was an unknown. So Bakugo knew that he have a possibility of unlocking a quirk. But still, he was shocked about Deku having this much power. So after he threw his ball and saw that he's below Deku, he gets slightly enraged. And he starts thinking, what happened to you, Deku? How did you get this strong? So after that, everyone threw their ball, and when it come to Jiro, when she threw it, she got 85 meters. Remember, she doesn't have a strength quirk, and I assume that the ball is heavy, so she will not be able to carry it with her earphone jack. So after Aizawa saw the result, he tell her, nice, you are pretty strong for a kid. Jiro scratched back her head and tell him, well, I am training with Greeny. Greeny? He tell her? Sorry, I mean Izuku. Sorry, I mean Sakiyama. Aizawa raised an eyebrow. Izuku, huh? Does he see a potential in her? Maybe I should keep an eye on her. Plus Izuku, Greeny, they're already that far. But for now, he decided to keep quiet. So everyone do their turn, with Deku easily acing everything. So when it's time for the results, no shock to everyone, Deku got the first place, second Bakugo, then Todoroki, then we go on until we arrive at 9th place, and it's Jiro. She was happy. Deku put his hand on her head and tell her, see, I told you, top 10. She smiled and nods, and last place was Mineta. So here's the thing. I know you guys want me to kick Mineta out of this what if, like I did with Ultra Instinct. But I decided not to in this what if. Maybe in another what if. Let's say I have 1 or 2 what if in mind, but I need some time to think of a good story for them. Sorry, I know I'm a bit slow, but that's me, so you have to deal with it. Anyway, after the results, Mineta starts freaking out. Then Aizawa told them that everyone did a good job, and he was just messing with them about expelling them. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief, except for Deku, who's a bit weirded out. So he shot Aizawa a glare, basically telling him, really? Aizawa nod. I think they did impress him. Then Deku and Bakugo exchange looks, and for some reason Deku started getting angry. The hair, or the fur in this case, of his tail starts spiking up, and Jiro saw that. She put a hand on his shoulder and asked him, Greeny, what's wrong? It's nothing, Deku replied. No, it's not, Jiro replied. Then she grabbed his hand and tell him, come on, you know you can tell me, alright? Deku looked at her, he started calming down and tell her, I will tell you when we are alone. She nods. But unbeknownst to them, Aizawa saw all of that. So he started wondering, what's going on between Deku and Bakugo? And what's going on between Deku and Jiro? So he told them class dismissed, and they can do whatever they want because it's the first day. So everyone quickly changed, then Deku and Jiro met up again. And while they are walking, Jiro asked him, so what's wrong? Why were you angry? Deku sighed and told her what happened between him and Bakugo, and how that he think that they know each other before he lost his memories. That's good, she replied. I assume that you are friends or something? Deku shook his head. I don't think so, because when I saw him, I started getting uneasy, then angry, for no reason, so somehow I just feel it that we were not friends. I see, she replied. So what are you going to do? There is nothing I can do, Deku replied. It's not like meeting him will jog my memory, because if so, I should already have them. But the only thing I got from him, it's anger. I see, Jiro replied. Then she raised her head above Deku's head and started petting him. Then she tell him, there, calm down. Deku sighed. You love messing with me, don't you? I sure do. Then Deku started petting her and tell her, but you are the cat, not me. Then she remembered. She was going to ask him why did he give her this nickname, but she stopped when she heard someone calling for him. They turned around and saw Nijire. Nijire, what are you doing here? Deku asked her. To check on you, Izuku, she replied. So how was the class? A bit boring. By the way, this is my friend and classmate, Jiro. Oh, nice to meet you, Jiro. Nijire Hado. I am a 3rd year here. I see, nice to meet you too, Jiro replied. Then she started asking herself, how these two know each other? And they're at their first name base? Maybe they have a thing for each other? If so, I don't stand a chance. Then she started looking a bit down, and Deku saw that, so he asked her what's wrong. She gave him a fake smile and tell him, oh, it's nothing. Anyway, Nijire, care give us a tour of the school? I like to know my way around. Sure, why not? She replied. So the 3 of them started going around the school. During this time, Jiro started looking at how Deku and Nijire interact. And even though she didn't see any sign of flirting or anything, she said a bit uneasy. They are quite close. And I know you're asking, how? Well, if you remember in part 4, specifically at the end, when Ryuko asked Deku about his opinion on the big 3, he did tell her that Nijire is a hard worker. So Ryuko not only gave her an internship, but also a work study with her. And once again, if you remember in part 3, I did say that Deku spent some time in Ryugu's agency, meaning he will meet Nijire there, so they will get close. But I decided to not cover it because it will be just them hanging around or just training. Nothing more, nothing less. Because I already have a what if with Deku and Nijire as a ship. Abandoned, by the way. So they are close friends. But that's it. But for Jiro, she did see how Deku interact with other girls. So she thought that she's special. But when she saw Deku interacted with Nijire, she started having second thoughts. So after a while of their walking, they met up with the other big three. Even though they are not close, they are friends with Nijire, so why not? So they talk for the rest of the day. And during this time, Jiro's mood started getting better, so Deku stopped worrying about her. But he still have this weird feeling since he talked with Bakugo. He just hoped that it will go with time. So after that, everyone went back home. Mirko informed Deku that she will be late again, so Deku decided to cook something, and to make sure that she would eat something healthy, he left her chair. Then he lay on his bed. He texts Jiro and asks her if she's okay. She tell him, yeah, why do you ask? It's nothing, you are just acting a bit weird. Don't worry about it, I was just tired from the exam. You sure? Yeah. Alright, if you say so. See you tomorrow? Yeah, see you tomorrow, Granny. And that makes Deku chuckle. After that, he starts slowly drifting to sleep. And after a couple of hours, Mirko finally returned home. She knows that Deku is sleeping right now, so she did make sure that she doesn't do a lot of noise. Then she saw that he did leave her some food. She smiled. I should be the one taking care of him, not the other way around. So she sat down and started eating. Then she heard a weird noise, and it's coming from Deku's room. So she made her way there, and when she entered, she saw Deku moving left and right a bit violently, almost like he's having a nightmare. So she came close to him, and indeed he's having a nightmare. It's been a while since he got one. Then Deku started muttering, "Bastard, I'm not done yet." And after she heard that, she sat down beside him and started petting his head to try to calm him down. Then Deku jolts awake and throws a punch. Mirko was surprised, but she was able to catch the punch. But two things actually surprised her. One, the punch was strong. Way more of what Deku was showing during the training. Second, right after Deku threw the punch, his eyes changed. Although for a second, they changed from green to yellow. But after she cut the punch, Deku started getting his sense back. Mom, is that you? Yeah, it's me, so calm down. Alright, sorry about that. Then he put his hand on his face. So she started playing with his hair, trying to calm him down. Are you okay? She asked him. Yeah, I'm fine. It was a nightmare. Do you remember what happened in it? Vividly, he replied. I was fighting like 3 or 4 kids, and I was alone. Each time they pushed me to the ground, I get back up and start fighting more. Then I woke up. I see. Then she pet him and tell him, remember, you're not weak. You were not weak back then, and you're not weak right now. Deku looked at her, smiled, and thanks her. Anytime, Granny. She said that with a smile. Deku giggled. Then she tell him to go back to sleep, and she will still hear until he do so. Deku lay back down, thanks her, and he slowly started drifting back to sleep. And after a while, she started thinking, why does he all of a sudden have nightmares again? Did something happen in a way? I will check with Aizawa tomorrow. So Mirko kept looking at Deku until she fell asleep. And fast forward to the next day. Deku wake up, then he saw that Mirko is sleeping at the edge of the bed, while technically only her upper body is on the bed. But you get my point. Deku smiled, so she did keep an eye on me all night, huh? So Deku slowly got up, and he head to the kitchen and start making breakfast. And the smell and the noise were able to wake up Mirko. So she made her way to the kitchen, they exchanged good mornings, and Deku thanks her for keeping an eye for him. Don't mention it, it's my job as your mom, she replied, with a smile on her face. Yeah, I know, he replied, but thanks anyway. So while they're eating breakfast, Mirko thought of asking him about what happened anyway, but after she see that he's back to normal, she decided not to. But after he leave, she will call Aizawa. And that's exactly what she did. After waiting a few minutes, she called Yue and asked for Aizawa. So she explained the situation. So she asked what happened. Did he fight with someone? Then Aizawa replied, he didn't fight per se, but he did argue with one of his classmates. I think his name was Bakugo. I don't know why, but he was agitated whenever he saw him. Luckily, Jiro was able to calm him down. Bakugo, huh? Mirko replied, I'll do some digging on my part, but can you keep an eye for him? You know how strong he is, and you are the only one that can stop him. Yeah, I know. Don't worry. Thanks, she replied. Then she hung up. So she had out to do some digging about this Bakugo. Meanwhile, Deku just arrived at UA. He was chatting with Jiro, then Oraka joined in. She wanted to know Deku more. So she struck up a conversation with him, and Jiro started feeling a bit uneasy. She hoped that Oraka doesn't have feelings for Izuku. Nijiri is already a tough opponent as it is. Then their conversation was cut with All Might come into the room, and he told them that we are going to do a Hero vs Villain test. So I won't change. And by the way guys, Deku's costume will be the same, well except if I change my mind. The only difference is I'm going to change the color a bit, from green to white, at least for now. Look, like I told you at the beginning of this video, I was sick. I didn't think of a new look for him, so you can deal with it for now. Plus his costume will have the same moon as his mom, right on top of his chest. So Ever make their way to the fixed city, and when Jiro saw Deku's costume, she tell him, taken after your mom? Deku nod. Plus she's my first mentor, so I kind of feel that's just right. I see. Maybe I should add a green moon or something green on my costume. Deku raised an eyebrow. Why green? Well, technically you are my first mentor, so Deku blush and tell her, oh I see, I'm flattered. Jiro blush and giggle. Then almost tell them the teams, and sadly the teams stay the same, and Jiro got a bit annoyed that he got teamed up with Oraka, but after she heard that he's going against Bakugo, she got a bit worried. So she approached him and asked him if he will be okay. Yeah, I will be. Try to calm down, she tell him. I'm calm, he reply. No you're not, Izuku. Then she grabbed his hand. I know that you're angry because of what you feel, but please, calm down. There is no point of getting angry of something that you don't know. Then their eyes met. Deku took a deep breath. Alright, now I think I'm calm. Jiro pauses and she tell him, yeah, I think you're right. And how did you know? He asked her. Well, your tail is a dead giveaway. Just by seeing it, I can see if you are angry, or calm, or happy. Damn it, Deku reply, getting snitched by my own tail, and that make Jiro giggle. Then All Might tell them to get ready, so two of them face bump, and Jiro wish him good luck. Then Oraka approach him and tell him, so what's the plan? Look, I don't want to be rude, but I work better alone. Plus, if we split, we can cover more ground. Just keep an eye out for the villains and the bomb. If one of us find it, we call the other. Oraka nod, a bit annoyed that she want to know Deku a bit more, but it's a good plan, so she just went with it. So they entered the building and they split, and soon after Deku started hearing explosions. Explosions, huh? That means that Bakugo is near. But why does he make them? Is he challenging me? Or he just laying a trap? I don't know why, but I just want to punch his face. Screw it, it's just a test. If it was a trap, I just blast him away. If not, let's see how strong he is. So Deku starts making his way toward Bakugo, and to his surprise there is no trap. Then Deku tell him, looking for me? Yeah, Bakugo reply. Look, I got it, you don't remember me at all. But I do. So what do you want? Deku ask. For now, I want to see how strong you are. Lucky you, Deku reply, while smirking. I also want to fight you for some reason. You changed a bit, Bakugo tell him. What do you mean? Deku ask. Back then, you are always fighting back. You never were the one who will instigate in a fight. Well, I don't know what you are talking about. This is just me. So do you want to keep talking or shall we? Then he go on his fighting stand. As you wish. Show me what you got, Deku. Deku got slightly pissed and tell him, stop calling me that. I don't know why, but stop. Or you will regret it. Bakugo start thinking, maybe he can remember, so he smirk and tell him, make me. So Deku charged at Bakugo and he was impressed. Because Deku is slightly ticked, he get a small rage boost. So when he charged at Bakugo, Bakugo tried to push him away with an explosion, but Deku was able to avoid it, and he kicked Bakugo in the head, sending him back a few feet. And while he stunned, Deku charged at him once again, this time with a gut punch, and he followed that with another kick. Everyone is impressed, well except Bakugo and Jiro. Jiro because she knows how strong is Deku, and Bakugo, he's too much stunned to think. So after a solid minute of Bakugo being on a back foot, he tried to get an advantage with the explosions by changing his direction suddenly with the explosions like he did in the anime. But this Deku is already prepared for that. Why you ask? Well, it's simple. Mirko, Ryuko, Nijire, and Aizawa. All of them have given Deku advice on how to fight. So after the brutal beatdown, Bakugo had enough, so he pulled his gauntlet up and tell Deku, I have a month of sweat inside this gauntlet. Let's see you try to stop this. Deku got enraged and he pulled his hands in front of him and tell Bakugo to bring it. And Gain Aura started surrounding Deku's arms and both of them yell, eat this! Eraser wave! Two attacks collided and it created a massive shockwave and it covered the arena with smoke. And when the smoke started dissipating, both Deku and Bakugo are on the ground because Deku's attack was not strong enough to go through the blast, but it was able to stop it in the middle of them. So the blast hurt both of them. Then Deku slowly started getting up. He's hurt, but he's been through worst. Why? Simple. Mirko. That's all I need to say. Then Deku make his way toward Bakugo. He tried to get up, but the blast did a number on him. Then Deku grab his hands and tell him, you put up a good fight, but I won. Then he taped him. Then Deku called Oraka and she tell him if she found the bomb. She tell him, yeah, 3rd floor. I'm coming right now. So Deku made his way toward Oraka. And when she saw him, she got a bit worried and asked him, is he okay? Yeah, don't worry. I've been through worse. Anyway, I assume that Ida is behind the door. She nods. So what do you think we should do? But before she can finish her sentence, Deku burst through the door. Ida saw him and he started going on a monologue. But right after he started, Deku threw a key blast at him, forcing him to dodge. And Deku took this opportunity to charge at him, and he delivered a furious kick to his face that sent him flying and crash in the wall. And right before Deku touched the bomb, he told Ida, you talk too much. Then All Might told them that hero teams win. Then Deku approached Ida and gave him a hand. Ida took it. Then Deku told him, look, I get it, you want to play a villain, but take this fight seriously next time. I was, Ida told him. I was acting like a villain. Yeah, you were, Deku replied. A weak villain, like the low of the lowest villains. Villains that actually know what they're doing don't go on a monologue for no reason. If they start doing one, it's either to destroy your confidence or to stall for time. But you are doing it for no reason. Oh, I see, Ida replied. So they start making their way to the security room, but for Deku, he first changed. His costume did got torn, and Bakugo was taken to recovery gear. So when Deku entered the security room, he approached Jiro, and she asked him, is he okay? He looked at her, smirked, and told her, you know that I've been through more than that. Oh right, your mom, she replied. Yep. After that we skip a few rounds, and to tell you the truth, I want to make Jiro's turn a bit different, but with Kaminari's quirk, he will just zap them, so they will win immediately. So with that, I think I'm going to stop it right here. So what do you think of it, guys? Will Deku get his memory back? And if he did, what will he do? What will happen next? Leave your thoughts in comments down below. And like I said in the beginning of this video, if you want another part of this series, 500 likes and I'll make another one. And if you're new, subscribe, there is more videos like this coming. And like always guys, peace.